Mind is holding on to all sorts of sticky frequencies that it's adopted. Right now, you, and by you I mean me too, are clinging to some thought form that doesn't belong to you, to me, to us. Don't you want to find that little bugger, that anchor, that impediment to reaching your signature theme? That means questioning nearly everything, including those things that you feel right at home about. Turning that blind spot of our conditioning into a red flag is as simple as understanding your undefined centers and recognizing the themes that those centers represent. That's where these thought forms like to hide. And so anything that falls into those center keynote categories is fair game. So what sort of secondhand, energetic, garage sale garbage are you fighting to keep as if they were near and dear to you and worthy of becoming part of your identity or credo? Could 2022 be the year you finally ditch those thought forms and live more authentically as yourself? Whatever that looks like, come what may, risking pissing others off, maybe even alienating yourself a bit from your tribe, but Stepford no more to these not-self knickknacks. This work can be scary and challenge or sacrifice our comfort zone in multi-dimensional ways, especially now in this global environment. Leaving the comfort and the protection of your tribe may be unfathomable. It takes courage, no doubt about it. And to be clear, I'm referring to tribes that are no longer correct for you, if they ever were. You may find it easier just to pretend to believe what they believe, instead of face the cold, yet more authentic path of your capital T truth. Don't get me wrong, you can still love your tribe, but recognize it's not for you. Both paths are lonely, at least at first. The loneliest path, though, is the one that requires cutting yourself off from meeting those on your like-minded fractal, your true soul pod, and sticking with the tribe you were either born into, married into, or just too scared to leave. You have to decide which is the biggest torture. And I suppose it depends on your priorities. How much do you want to grow in this lifetime? How much do you want to evolve into the being you were designed to be? What are you willing to do to live your truth? Not everyone is cut out for this path, but memento mori. You will eventually transcend this mortal coil, like all of your loved ones and inherited enemies, to embark on a new journey. Life, just like grade school, has us graduating or upgrading from kindergarten to first grade to second grade and onward. In what grade or level of self-knowledge or knowledge of not self or authentic self-actualization will you have reached when you begin your post-mortem journey? Is that an important consideration for you? Your finishing point or starting point for the next leg of your metaphysical journey? Where does such a quest fit in the hierarchy of everything else you have going on that's clamoring for top priority? Where is fear keeping you shackled to the devil you know? Are you even the source of these fears? Did they start with you? Or is it something you've absorbed and amplified, conditioned into you for however long? Your undefined centers hold the answer to that question, regardless of whether you're in a tribe or not. But that's what facing your threshold guardian feels like and demands of you. How much is finding what's on the other side of that portal worth to you? I suppose that all depends on how far up the food chain you place your personal evolution and self-mastery, because convenient it is not. It's disruptive as and your mind is in charge of none of it and screaming the whole time. And some days you will not have the will or the energy to put up much of a fight or conquer that not self guardian. Your mind's weapon of choice is weaving a narrative about what that means about you. Fake news. Cultivate self-compassion. You and your higher selves are in this together. Allow for these setbacks. Yes, there will be moments of darkness, momentary failures, but as soon as you see sunlight again, forgive yourself for falling and get back in the fight for your truth. I hope this helps. to hear that many of us are fighting this same fight for our truth and making the extremely uncomfortable choice of sacrificing the comfort and protection of our unconscious, growth-stunting, and sometimes disaster-bound tribes or lifetime friend circles in search of more aligned connections. I hope 22, a master number, numerologically, if invited, brings you graceful awakening, leading you to your next higher vista, a higher perspective you're able to increasingly maintain and stabilize within. Just today's now leads to tomorrow's now and the finite days after. So if not now, when? It's going to be a now at some point when you choose your evolution. So if this is not something you're ready to look at, which is obviously what your mind is going to tell you, you will need to be the bigger person because your mind is not big on self-sacrifice. It wants to reign indefinitely and has reasons, rationale, and excuses at the ready to gladly, indefinitely postpone turning over its power to your inner authority. That means that you cannot meaningfully decide to do this with your mind and the timing of that move, because it's the only escape from your Truman Show. Your mind is more than willing to sacrifice your happiness for comfort, but you should know those two are not the same. I'll leave you with this. Just imagine for a minute if you were born into a different family, from a different country, different upbringing, born into a different socio-economic situation, following a different religion or no religion, with a different education, different teachers, different experiences, having adapted to different conditions and being raised with a different ideology, having conformed to a different set of principles and beliefs. How much of what you believe to be true is simply situational and specific to your upbringing and conditioning? And how much are universal truths that transcend all of the things I mentioned earlier? How much of what you hold to be the absolute truth would change as a result? And if most of what you believe is situational, just stuff inherited from your tribe, what does it say about these truths that you hold so dear? Okay, good luck again. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.